Hello dear friends, I'm Roland homeopath in Royston on Vancouver Island, and today we don't meet outside in nature somewhere but here in my office, because it's a little bit of theoretical but very important topic that I want to talk with you about today. Over and over I'm being asked from people, how do I prepare for being vaccinated? And I think this question is important because the COVID vaccination that we're just experiencing all together in our communities, in our society, they have some side effects, and we also know that from studies that only between 1 and 10% of the side effects are being reported, so probably it's way more than what we know about. So the question how to prepare for it is quite important, I think. And there are ways. What I'm going to talk about today is how to prepare energetically ourselves and our body for it. There's other ways to prepare. And maybe in the end I will say a little bit about that. So I would like in the end to take you through a little guided meditation, only as a suggestion what you can do. In order for what I suggest to make sense, I need to give you a little bit of information. So let me start with that. Our bodies have an extensive knowledge about how to deal with challenges of life. Our bodies are the sum and the essence of everything our ancestors have gone through. Thousands and thousands, millions of years of life experience is being stored in our bodies. Whatever your ancestors and mine have gone through diseases, through intoxication, through virus infections, all kinds of challenges. It's stored in our bodies, in your and in mine today, and we rely on it and we call it the self-healing ability of our body. However, this is the experience of countless of generations before us. It's a huge resource that we can tap into and that we can activate. When we want to communicate with our body, there's a few things we need to know. The body speaks its own language, and that is different than our mind. What I talk with you now, there's a mental content, information that I pass on to you from my mind to yours. There's hopefully also a little bit an emotional connection, and our bodies talk. Now, when we want to sit and prepare our body for something like a vaccination or something else, and we want to communicate with our body, then we need kind of somebody that translates, something that connects between our mental thought process and between our body. You know how we communicate with language and thinking on the mental level. That's okay, but that is a language the body does not understand. The body speaks an older language. It's a language before words, and it's the same way that you speak and that you communicate when you talk with an animal, when you talk with a tree, when you talk with nature, because our body is a part of this nature. And how is that? How can we do that? So the connection between our mind and our intellect and our body goes through feelings. It goes through our emotions. This is when you talk with your dog, the dog does not necessarily understand so much your words, but the dog hears your language, the tone of your voice, and the dog senses the feelings, and your body has a transmission to the body of the dog. So this is how nature listens, and this is how we need to talk or to connect with the body. So this is why it's important before we start talking that we also connect with the body on an emotional level. What do I feel? So, and let's go through that process after these few words. I think that's enough what we need. What I suggest is, before you do that, just create a little bit of centered space or even a sacred space. And you can do it either in lighting a candle like I do it here, or you can do it in lighting a smudge stick, or in saying a prayer, or whatever, however you want to do that. It's just so you know this is something important, and this energy also includes the body. And if you want, you can close your eyes or you can leave them open, and we relax in this space. And just I encourage you to take a deep breath if you want to do that. And just in breathing out, relax into your body and just get a feeling for your body. Sense your body. Go through your body, just feel, maybe you feel your heart racing, maybe the stomach says something, maybe there's an itching somewhere or twitching, and whatever you feel, whatever you sense with your senses, we just acknowledge it. This is how we connect to the body. We simply go into this body awareness and allow our body senses to give us the information and the awareness of our body. And then, without losing that connection to our body, we turn to our emotions and ask ourselves, what do I feel in that moment? When I connect with my body, when I hold this connection, what's happening on an emotional level? Maybe there's a warmth, a joy, because I had so much joy in living with this body. Maybe there's a fear, because I'm afraid that something could happen to this body or in this body. And whatever emotion it is, whatever you find, that's good. And that's what we take. There's nothing how it should be. We only bring to our awareness what is. And this is what we use. And the moment you know, do you feel in this moment joy, love? Do you feel fear or anger or whatever? Now we can connect to the body. And in holding both the connection, the awareness of the body and of our emotions, I invite you to imagine all the people that went before you, that are stored as genetic or epigenetic memory in your body. The many, many generations. And now we tell our body, so many generations of people went through diseases, went through virus infections. Thousands of generations went through things like that before. And you, my body, you have all this knowledge about that. So many viruses brought foreign genetic information in you. And my ancestors, our ancestors, survived that and passed this knowledge on to us about how to deal with this genetic information. And whatever genetic that information that is, that comes from a virus or that comes from a vaccination, you, my body, you have a vast knowledge about how to deal with that. Do so. And you also have an extensive knowledge about how to deal with toxins, with substances that are not necessarily friendly to our body. Many of our ancestors had intoxications from plant or mushrooms or from snakes, all kinds of stuff through thousands and thousands of years. And they all survived, otherwise we would not be here, and passed on their knowledge to us, and it's stored in our body. So my body, you know how to deal with toxins, and whatever is going to come into my body, you know how to deal with it. Do so. And I give thanks to my body and give thanks to my ancestors for all this knowledge and the wisdom and the experience that's stored in our bodies. And we take a moment and just allow these words to sink in as a felt awareness into our body. And then, with our inner attention, we turn to the vaccine itself. In the moment we decided to get vaccinated, we welcome this vaccination. There's no doubt anymore. The doubt has been before. Now we made a choice, and we go for it. And we connect with all the people that did research and with all the good intentions that these people had in their hearts and minds. And we connect with all the good intentions that the people that produced that and marketed it and bring it to us had. And even if there's also motives that might not be so honorable and not be to our best, we focus on all the core that's in everything that exists. Everything that exists has a divine core, even if it is artificial and even if it is vaccinations, otherwise it would not and it could not exist. And this is what we connect to. And we allow that sacred core to shine and to permeate the whole vaccination. And we allow that for a moment just to be in that awareness, so it can sink into our body. Because our body has a little bit a slower pace than our thoughts, so we got to give it some time. And when you have the sense that what we said or what you asked the body, that the body received it, then I would call in the sacred or God or spirit or however you call it, however you call that. And I ask for a blessing, for divine blessing from a higher level of understanding than I have. I am human, and as such my understanding is limited, and my thoughts and might be even flawed or not perfect, and I don't have an overview over everything, but to the best of my abilities and my understanding and for the best of life, I made this choice, and I bow down to a higher wisdom and ask this higher wisdom, the higher will and the higher choreography to flow into this vaccination and into the way my body will take that vaccination and deal with it. And you and I, we probably all know the experience of that. We did something that seemed to be a mistake, and after a while it still turned out good. This is possible with a divine blessing. And when we open ourselves consciously to that, this is when we allow the divine to support our choice or to correct our choice. And we bow down to this higher wisdom. And then take a deep breath. If you want, open your eyes again, if you had them closed. This is what I suggest how to prepare for vaccination. Now there's many other ways you can do that. And there's an extensive knowledge and experience and wisdom in healers of all kinds, people that do acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, herbalists, people that do anthroposophical medicine, homeopaths, naturopathic doctors, medical doctors, they all know how to prepare and how to deal with vaccinations. Whoever you trust, whoever you have a trusted therapeutic relationship with, please ask them. And if it feels right for you, follow them. I cannot imagine if we would have the wisdom to work and the good intention to work together and to mobilize all this knowledge that the different parts of the healing system in our society, what they have, if we all would work together, it would be to great benefit for everybody of us. Because imagine, all these healers, they are part of the immune system of our society. If our immune system, like my antibodies, would tell the memory cells of my immune system, no, I don't like you, we don't work together, it wouldn't work well. It's the same thing when we think bad about each other or talk bad about each other. But there is a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge in and incredible knowledge in this combined wisdom of the healing traditions in our society. Use them. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope it's helpful for you, and all the best for you. Take care.